Kathy here and welcome back to my channel. Today, I would like to introduce you to Mrinal Jindal. Mrinal's friends often call him Doc, as he has always been known for his caring and gentle personality. Doc was born in Ludhiana, Punjab, in India, from a family of scholars. His parents are dental surgeons, his sisters are doctors, and Doc himself is proudly following his family's footsteps as he recently graduated college as a dental surgeon. As a child, Doc always loved listening to his friends and help them the best he could. He would offer them advice, would console them, and would simply lend an ear to the ones in need. While working with his father, Doc continued going to college, but he was also often drawn by the magic element of the social media industry that can bring people together and let them communicate over countless topics. Good afternoon, Doc, and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Kathy. Thank you so very much.
So, thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. You're 9 hours ahead on a Saturday night, so I'm sure that you had so many other places to be today. So, thank you for choosing us.
Thank you so much for the honor, Kathy. It's Saturday night over here, but I think I am as active as it would be a morning. I mean, it's a new experience for me. The whole podcasting world is a new experience for me.
That is really cool. So I can't wait. I have so many questions to ask you. But first of all, I would love it if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself. I gave a little bit of introduction, but you have so much more to tell us. Can you please give us more details about the person that you are, your background, and why you accepted to speak to us today?
Okay, so I was born in Ludhiana, Punjab, in India, and I was brought up in the same city as well. So I come from a city which is known as the Manchester of India. Everybody in my family is very well read. My grandparents they're the oldest teachers of the city, and my parents been in the dentistry world for about 25 years or so. And I was obviously always fascinated by them as well. So that is why I chose a medical field in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I went on to do other things as well. While in school, I was really fond of speaking. Right, I took part in a lot of debates and declamations. So one of my best experiences was that the speeches that I used to speak in college, my grandfather used to write those speeches, and then my mother used to have me. So I used to practice maybe 100 times or 150, and I've been relatively aloof in my life, but whenever a friend needs me, I've always been there. The best thing that we can do is help our near and dear ones, because that's the biggest circle that we can reach when we're young. So yeah.
That's really cool. That's really nice. So you are being brought up as a dentist, but you also have passions and you like to speak with people and help people and so forth. So you have two very distinct lives. So that's very interesting. So now today we're here because we met through the podcast community.
That's right.
Because people might be wondering, how did they meet? So I really love your podcast, and that's the reason why I asked if you could be with us today.
Yeah, so when you sent me the link for your podcast before we planned the interview, just much before that, so I went over your podcast and I heard it, and I think I am yet to hear or listen to a podcast which works out for the people who are working at the intricacies of society.
Mm-hmm.
Like your most recent podcast about Mimi, there's that girl who runs a coffee shop.
Yes.
So the passion that girl had, and you being able to spread that passion and that ambition out into the world for people to know, I think that's something really fabulous.
So I can't wait to speak about your passion today. So today it's all about you, and one of your passion is actually the social media industry. So let's go through this a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, your childhood dreams have always been to help people. So it looks like through the social media, your dreams are coming true. So can you please tell us about what made you go into the podcast?
The thing is that I
Mm-hmm.
had an interest since college life. I wanted to get into social media. I wanted to do, make a difference. I wanted to be able to tell somebody out there that yes, I am somebody who has done something for the society. Per se. So I actually started a YouTube channel in second year of my college,
Okay.
right? And I just put on 2 or 3 videos. I wanted to plan a video that was based on the life of an ant. So what I had planned was I would make a video of the ants, walking, and then I would record bigger things, people standing and stairs from below with my camera, so that people would get an idea that how an ant feels when it's out into the human world. But then those videos, I mean, they didn't do well. So then in my third year of college, there's this application called TikTok. So it's a lip syncing application. So about 2 years ago, I came across this series on Prime Video. I think you must be familiar with it. God Trended Me.
Yes.
Yeah, so the protagonist in that story, basically, he's a podcaster, and I got really fascinated by the concept of being able to help people, because that's something that I've always wanted to do. So then I realized that it's not necessary to be seen to make a difference, and that was something that really touched me. And then I had some experiences in my life, a little bit on this low side, and then I realized that I need somebody to talk to me. I need somebody to tell me that it's going to be okay. And while I had a lot of people who love me, and but sometimes I think you need somebody from the outside. That's something I think that needs to be done. I was not able to find something like that anywhere, so then I decided that I'll do a podcast.
So that brings me to my next question. You seem to be extremely close to your family, your parents. So going into the podcast industry can feel a little awkward, especially to the older generation. I mean, you're brought up as a dentist, and all of a sudden you say, "Mom, Dad, being a dentist is all fun and games, but my real passion is out there." How do they accompany you through your passion?
They have been nothing but supportive. Not just my father, my mother, and everybody in my family. I mean, they heard the first draft of the first episode. I mean, and the first draft was like 60 minutes long. So they sat there patiently, and then they said, "You should do this, you should do that." In fact, they were the ones who pushed me to this in the first place. Right. So we were, yeah. So very recently, me and my father, we were sitting and discussing something. In fact, he gave me the first topic. My first topic, that's how to go from stressful to stress free. So he said, Mrinal, you should talk about stress. Amid this whole corona virus thing, a lot of people are under, a lot of stress, and they need somebody to tell them that it's going to be okay. And then that feeling came back to me. You need somebody to tell you that it's going to be.
And stress has no borders, so you can really touch so many minds and souls and spirits when you so it looks like you're using your insecurities to become a podcaster and heal others. So it's amazing, and it looks like it's actually working really well, because you're ranking very, very high in the charts. Tell us about how well you're doing.
So for the first episode, I have to tell you, it was really well received. My first episode is now at 500 downloads.
That is amazing.
That's like, yeah, that was something. And then I released a teaser in between, and the teaser is at 100 downloads. So I was overwhelmed by that. I mean, I did not expect it, because I mean, who would like to listen to somebody who's, a small podcaster from India? And my podcast up until yesterday was number 7th in relationships in India. And it ranked 58th in the world and number 38 in Sweden.
That is unbelievable.
So that was like, it came as a surprise. I was shockingly surprised because it was like something I did not expect.
I'm imagining that someday you will organize interviews and Q&As and live events and so forth. So is this something that you will be willing to do?
I would love to do that. I already am getting a lot of people, want to know what's my approach to stressful to stress-free script into my life. So any solution that I put out there in my podcast, I am always applying it. I apply it first, I see if it's working, then I put it out in the world. Right. And I would love to do Q&As. I would love to come back to this podcast, and I would love to, have a discussion with you and anybody who wants to talk about anything that's worrying him or her. I'm open to everything.
Yeah. It sometimes feels that our world is going through so much pain, it's like more and more with pain and sadness and anger. It's just like, and now with COVID-19, we really do need people like you. So I would like to refocus on the reason why I am interviewing you today and on the larger scale why I run this podcast. I run this podcast because I want to speak with people from all around the world, people who have a passion to share, and then make them feel that there is hope in life, whatever they love to do. So, can you give us a little bit session of what you're talking about and how you are helping people?
Sure, I can. So the name of my podcast is A Smidge of Reality with Dr. Mrinal Jindal. That's my name. The story behind the name is a story in itself. So when I initially started out the podcast, I was thinking of naming it the Mrinal Jindal Show. Then I thought of the life show. But then I realized that there is something that all of us are away from, and that's the reality of life. So the reality of life is that it is amazing. That's the most beautiful thing about life. People think about life and they think that you have to achieve something, you have to get somewhere, and that's okay, that's right. It's okay to be ambitious, but your ambitions should not press you down. Your ambitions should not make you feel that you are not able to live the way you actually want to live. So a smidge of reality, the title in itself tells you everything. I don't want to tell you the key to happiness is this, because I don't have the key to happiness. I am as human as the other person, right? So the basic concept behind a smidge of reality is I'm going to give you just a little bit. And that little bit, yeah, say, let's just say I'm going to put a red dot on a white paper. And then from that dot, anybody out there in the world, they have the ability to create a masterpiece from that one small dot. That's what the entire concept is of my podcast. The entire purpose of my podcast is to be able to make others smile, because the gist of every episode is going to be that everything is within you.
Yeah.
Everything is within you, even you, Kathy. Everything that you want to achieve, every negativity that you want to throw away, you have the ability to do it all. So that's what I want to convey through this podcast.
So let's say I am you saying that it's all within me, and I agree that as I'm not as young as you are. So as I get older, I do believe that we have people who love us all around, but the action belongs to us. Basically, we are the ones who taking action. So now, what advice would you? Let's say I am passionate in gardening. I love gardening, but to feed my children, I need to work in an office in the middle of a big city in Dubai. What advice would you give to all these people? I'm guessing you're not going to tell them, okay, go garden and just enjoy your life. People still have to pay bills. So, what advice are you giving these people?
See, there are two approaches to this thing, right? The first one is that you go and do what you want to do, irrespective of how it will affect the people around you, right? And the second approach is that you go as near as you can to that, so that you get a whiff of it, and then when the time is correct, you can go and grab it, right? So say, for example, the lady you're talking about is in Dubai and the job is very cumbersome and she has kids and take care of the family, the food, the bills. That's okay, but every day you should have at least 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, sit in an aloof place, put on some relaxing music, and then just think what you want to do, what you want to accomplish in life. Because there is a difference between goals and purposes, right? Sometimes what happens is when we're working towards our goals, we forget our purposes. We should never forget our purpose. So maybe what that lady could do, for so long as she's not able to actually garden, or she's not able to actually work towards her wishes, what she can do is she can stay connected to it. She can join a community that's gardening. Say she could join a Sunday group, and then they admire the beauty and then do gardening. We want to beautify this place with our efforts. So tomorrow when her kids would go to that garden, that particular beautified area would be because of her. She would be able to do good. And that all of that is within her.
Yeah, yeah,
And how do you do that? You just need 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. If you're bathing, you usually we take 10 minutes to get ready, right? 10 to 15 minutes, maybe half an hour,
yeah.
right? You put on some relaxing tunes, you just sit in the shower for 10 minutes, and then you think. You're driving, you put on relaxing tunes, you just think while you're driving. You don't need to get into that rat race. You don't need to see that, the person next in front of my car is not moving. He needs to move. I need to get to the office, because you're going to get to the office at your own time, the time that's fixed for you. But the 10 minutes that you have for you, those 10 minutes are going to give you the power to attain anything at all. I for one do that. I follow that.
It's funny because at the very beginning of this interview, you mentioned Mimi. And Mimi says the same thing, where from childhood she had that big dream of creating a coffee house, but it was never time, and it took her 15 years to accomplish her dreams. I mean, the dream never died.
Right. I went through the same thing. I wanted to do something on social media since the year 2012,
Okay.
right? So now it's 2020. It took me 8 years to realize my dream. You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's it. That's really, really good advice. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's never too late. That's what I have to say. It's never too late.
Well, what you're doing, I have to say, is extremely special, and I know that so many people will really appreciate your kindness and selfless mind, and I thank you. So we will continue listening to you. I will put all your information out there, and I really encourage everyone from my audience to go and listen to you. So now, Doc, something really exciting. I know you're preparing your next episode, and don't tell us too much because it's coming out soon, but give us a little bit of information about what you will be speaking now. So in the first episode we were talking about stress, how to get stress free. There was the introduction and so forth. The second one was overbooked. How do you help me? How can you help me to slow down and take one action and one thought at a time? I love that one because that's what I do to myself. I get overbooked and then I panic and then I'm mad at the world. So what next? What are you going to talk about next?
So the next episode, that's I'm going to release it on 1st of July. The next episode is going to be about this concept of being flawsome. And flawsome basically means it means an individual who embraces their flaws and knows that they are awesome regardless of that. And I know it can sound a little narcissistic and egocentric, but I think the important thing to take away from this is it's okay to be flawed. It's okay to have flaws, but what's more important is how to know that you are awesome from within. So that's what the episode is pretty much going to be about. And one more thing that to realize is that being embracing your flaws doesn't mean that you accept that, okay, I have this flaw and I can't do anything about it and I'm awesome regardless. No, that's a little different than what I want people to know. It's absolutely okay to have flaws, but the point in this concept is that once you accept those flaws, once you embrace those flaws, that is when you start working towards them. Because there is a difference between working on something and working through something. And although there might be flaws in you, you are an awesome person with a lot of good qualities as well. And that is something that you should consider when you're thinking about yourself or when you're trying to do something new. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach everybody how to be flawsome. So I should continue to have zero patience and continue to be super bad. Kathy, well, being impatient may mean that you are just driven to expect more out of a situation. I mean, after all, the here and now is a precious commodity. And I said it before, I'm saying it again. It's okay to be flawed. That's awesome. I can't wait to hear. So July 1st is your next episode. Yeah, that's right. To listen to it, no problem. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I can't wait for this one to come out, and I'm going to go back and listen to the episode with Mimi again because I really loved that episode. Well, so many others. I mean, just one that I actually really love, and that's my baby, is the one that says a tribute to Thomas Donnelly. And the reason is because it's my thesis and it's a search that I made on this painter during the Great Depression. So he died in 1971, but I had a friend of mine read my thesis into the first person tense as if he was Thomas Donnelly. He's talking about his passion and the way he loved his wife and he loved his art. And to me, it's my baby. But all the other ones, I'm super excited to learn from others. So listen, thank you so much. So that's it for today. And I really would like to thank you and so just best of luck in your future endeavors. And please send me my regards to your parents for me. They sound like amazing people. Definitely. Thank you so very much for this interview. And I had a ball talking to you. And, just it's a great experience for me. And, such a joyous, time with somebody. Also, I would like to thank all your listeners for listening to me, I think, because, yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, it's good to be heard. It feels good to be heard and, to make a difference out there. I know a lot of people will listen, and also from your community. I think it's important that your community, the people listening to your podcast, are actually
for once they're getting to know you. You are not, today you're not giving advice to others, but we're getting to know you as a person. And I think it's extremely important in life to get to know the people that we actually, what they have in their hearts. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's good to open up.
Thank you so much. So that's it for today. And if you are interested in participating in one of our future recordings, if you have questions or if you would like to share your adventure with us, please do contact me at bbonclody@gmail.com. Stay tuned for our next episode and always remember to be kind to each other. Thank you so much, Doc, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so very much, Kathy. I had a ball doing this, and the people who are listening to it, just know it's never too late. The answer to every question that you have is within you. Dreams don't have a time limit. They just have the ability to come true.
I'm going to fly with it because I have my own dream. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Kathy. I had a ball. Thank you.